Hello everybody, I'm Alex. I became disabled 10 years ago, but I didn't want to be a burden for my family. But first things first. My story began when I bought a car and decided to work as a taxi driver. The job didn't pay too much, but enough for meeting daily expenses. Everything went just fine until one evening. On June 21st, 2009, two teenagers got into my car. I thought they looked very suspicious and strange, but I drove them anyway. One way or another, I needed to earn money, not run from them. If only I knew that it would be me who would pay, I would never let them in. I drove the boys to their place, and instead of money, I got a bullet in the back. They shot me. I woke up already in a hospital a week later and heard a funny thing from a doctor. "You will not be able to walk anymore," he said to me. To tell you the truth, in this situation, I was more afraid, not of my disability, but that I would be a burden for my family and friends. I looked at their tears and realized that I wouldn't just sit on a stroller. A week later, I was finally able to go home from the hospital. That was good news, because I was getting a little crazy there. I can't sit in one place for more than 10 minutes at a time. I was informed that these scumbags were found and they would be punished in accordance with the law. This was all great, of course, but I would remain disabled for the rest of my life. To be honest, life at home was no different from hospital. They only fed better, and I was just sitting all day within the same four walls and listening to my relatives and friends that life doesn't end and everything will be fine. There are many people like you who cannot walk, and they live, etc. In short, they rather reassured themselves rather than me. I got used to it in the first few weeks after surgery. The question was how to find a job and who would take me. Who needs a disabled person? Nobody. Another week sitting at home, I didn't come up with anything. Every evening, I read books and I asked my mother to make me coffee in order to not fall asleep. One day, I asked how much this wonderful drink cost, just out of curiosity. But this was retail price and I wanted to know its wholesale price. I surfed the internet and it turned out that its real price was almost 2 times lower than its market price. Then I just got a great idea to start a business, buy coffee at a cheap price and sell it at twice the price. I had some small savings for a rainy day, and that day had finally arrived. As a result, I spent all my money on coffee. So I had a pile of coffee packs at home, but I had to do something with them, because they can't be here forever. They should be sold. But who would sell them and where? Not my mother, she had work to do, and my grandmother was also disabled, just like me. And who would buy something from a disabled person? But then I remembered one thing. I came from a village not far from the city. Shortly before this incident, I went there to visit my relatives and met a kid on the street. He was 16 years old. His parents were alcoholics, so the streets raised him. Then a brilliant idea came to my mind. I would give him all this coffee and let him sell it in the village. There weren't many stores there, and I would come every week to collect revenue and pay him his salary. So I did it. He was happy, and so was I. The people in the village were happy even more. All my stocks were bought in 2 days. Then I realized I was sitting on a gold mine. I bought even more coffee with the money I earned, and so my business has picked up pace. I finally stopped being a burden, and it made me happy. As the years went by, my business kept growing. I opened a store in the village with the same guy as the seller. He just didn't want to leave because I paid him good money. For 10 years of selling coffee, I was able to build a house and support my family. By the way, 3 years ago I got married. Although I am disabled, but independent and successful.